Hello everyone, we are LPL Tacit's Chalkboard. Welcome to the European and American chapters of the World Championship. LEC and LCS usher in a new round of confrontation. Who doesn't like the fateful confrontation between NA and EU? Let's take a look at whether the symbol between NA and EU this year is what. In the second round of the playoffs, RGE was swept into the lower bracket by G2 3-0. At that time, the public opinion in the outside world was all G2 unique. As a result, after returning from hell, RGE fought more and more fiercely. In the final, they swept G2 3 o'clock to win the championship. After the game, the interview of veteran Odo Ammi made countless audiences cry. This year's RGE is really a very creative team. RGE is not a team with outstanding individual abilities, they will cooperate more in team battles. It's similar to our LPL's RNG style, so they rely on BP to construct a lineup that is favorable to team fights and champion combo. Here I have to specifically mention the Trund and Ornn combination that the LEC region likes very much. The principle is very simple. Ornn's E is combined with the Troll's Pillar, and many teams have used this combination to play a good combo. And RGE's proficiency in this combination is very high, because in addition to choosing this knock-up combination, they will also take out Kalista to further cooperate, using the control of Kalista's ultimate skills, and connecting with Ornn's ultimate skills. The opponent is like a roller coaster, can often play fantasy team battles. On the other hand, the support Targamas is also very strange. He has no advantage in the bottom lane. The participation, but from the effect point of view, this is indeed a stroke of magic. The range of the G2 lineup was short, and Lissandra's skills were neutralized by Tam. Not to mention that Tam has Mercury's Treads and Quicksilver Sash, and Catherine can easily do damage. In the end, G2 was sent away by RGE in one wave. In the subsequent games against Europe and the United States, they had to guard against Black Technology. The reason why RGE was able to show its strong dominance in the second half of the competition has to be said of the team's sole jungler Malrang. In the lineup of last year's S11 DK, many netizens found that the players, The Shy, and Jackulov appeared. And this face is a bit like Jackulov is Malrang. He was the backup of Canyon at that time, and did not get too many appearances chance. It is worth mentioning that GAM's mid laner Katie is best at being a mid lane development, which is the core that GAM relies on most in the late stage. But choosing a developmental role in the after coming to RGE, he began to show his edge. Relying on the extremely sharp gank to connect the RGE lanes closely, he is a very team-type jungler. This team is very exaggerated. Throughout the playoffs, Malrang's first blood rate, 53.3, team participation rate, 77.2, assists per game, 9.1, and all field of vision points are all the first in the jungle. Since Comp is an AD player who can handle the bottom lane alone, Malrang will focus on attacking the top half early in the game. What's interesting is that his Jarvan 4, after getting this champion, he evolved. Almost all of his Jarvans were selected at the critical moment of the playoffs. He won 8 of the 9 games selected, and even occasional mistakes can often be avoided. Remembering that FPX was also eliminated by another RGE's Jarvan last year, it can only be said that RGE's Jarvan 4 is indeed very worthy of respect in the ban position. In short, RGE is a very competitive team. The disadvantage is that the performance of the middle and top lanes is relatively average. I still look forward to the performance of RGE in the World Championship. The runner-up in the summer season seems to be a good honor, but it is not enough for G2 in Europe in recent years. So in this part, we will take everyone from the G2 problem to re-examine this team. Over the years, all LEC Spring champions have won the Summer Division. The last time a different team won the Spring, Summer double championship dates back to S4 8 years ago. But this year, G2 broke the curse by itself, and the final was 0:3 to witness the new king RGE's enthronement. There is a very key reason for this. There are several very big changes between the spring and summer versions this year, which directly lead to the very high status of the bottom lane. However, G2 is not a team that plays bot lane. In the semi-finals between G2 and T1 at the previous MSI, the G2 bot lane group was blown 3 times in a row by Gumeus. Here we look at a set of playoff stats. As the runner-up AD, Flact has the lowest average kills per game, 3.4, the second lowest in damage ratio, 26.1%, the second lowest in average damage, 563, and the second lowest in 15-minute economic difference, -516. 1 blood rate, none, 0%. On the other hand, the support Targamas is also very strange. He has no advantage in the bottom lane. The participation rate is only 68.5%, ranking the last among all supports in the playoffs. It is enough to see that G2's bot lane is indeed easy to become a breakthrough. Here is a typical example. The first game of the LEC Summer Finals, the bottom road of G2 is Delavine Renata against Kalista and Soraka. With neither jungler coming to help, G2 bot was forced to use flash to save his life in the first 4 minutes, and was hit close to a 1k economic gap in 8 minutes. Draven's economy has been reversed after he finally got the head, but Flact's equipment selection is a bit strange. When the support is Renata by Immortal Shieldbow first and Bloodthirster second. In this round, the comp achieved the 5-kill achievement.
And it's the finals, and baby, we're in Sweden! Give it to comp! It's the pentakill!
Of course, G2's problem is not only in the bot lane. Caps is already a relatively stable player in the team. Top lane and jungler play is very inconsistent. Jankos used to like to work with Caps, and now the style is the same. Give priority to helping the mid lane, and then roam with the mid laner. But Larsen is as stable as a turret without any flaws. When Jankos needs to attack alone, he is a little confused and often appears in some strange positions. However, although G2 was slaughtered in the finals here, the CSGO game was slaughtering others. I believe HooXi. The regular season FNC was tepid, finishing 5th at October 8th. But when it came to FNC in the playoffs, it felt a little like LEC's LNG. Fortunately, there is not much pressure on the LEC competition. 6 teams compete for 4 places. FNC has confirmed the 3rd seed early. AD Upset is the absolute tactical core of FNC at present. The average kills per game, the average hits, the average economy, and the average damage are all ranked first. The support is still the well-known Hylasang. The Civil War is not ambiguous at all. With these 2 powerful players in the bottom lane, FNC's attack on the bottom half can often be effective. For example, in the first game of the playoffs against MSF, FNC selected the bot lane combination of Kalista and Renata. After Trund ate the red buff, he came directly to help the bot lane. MSF could only retreat to the second turret after 2 minutes of bot lane and finally forced Renekton to use TP, and FNC also killed Sejuani. In 7 minutes, Trund came back to the bottom lane, Zelie was completely disconnected, and FNC demolished the turret in 9 minutes. Another example is the 4th game against MAD in the playoffs. FNC's Trund bought the control ward at the beginning and placed it in the river grass on the bottom road. Making Sivir's ward at 2:30 doesn't work. In 2 minutes of gank, Sivir lost his flash, and in 3 minutes, he joined the mid laner to attack. In 10 minutes, Lucian 4-0, Sivir could only hang up. Breaking the game from the bottom road is FNC's usual trick, coupled with the good personal strength of the middle road. FNC's 2 carry also played particularly well, which is also the key to their ability to win many games in the playoffs.
They're gonna get the recalls off. Can Larsen stop them? Flash! Charm! Wide! Humanoid misses the abscond and ducked as well, but Humanoid dives onto Jimmy, that's 1! He's looking to make it 3, can he make the outplay to win the game? That's 2! Humanoid! You absolute monster! Follow through alongside Razork. There's really no damage for Rogue left when they're so split. Upset. It's in with the ultra shot. Flash forward, zap him to death. Upset looking for 2 under the tower, the double for him.
But their shortcomings are also more obvious. First, the offensive system around the bottom lane is too conspicuous. In the game against RGE, the opponent has always been on guard against this, and it is difficult for FNC to attack effectively. Upset doesn't work, and FNC is a bit like a headless fly. The second is the emphasis on the team's play style. That the entire Gen team still takes care of the bottom half, although Peanut itself does not have many top-to-bottom opening goal. In the 7 games of the playoffs, only 4 rounds are top-down brushing. The third is that FNC spot lane is also unstable. Lulu uses flash to enter 1v4 in team battles. I'm afraid she doesn't think of herself as a Mumu. Upset Zelie is also very strange. The use of E-skills in key games is very problematic. Whether this bot lane team can take on the heavy responsibility of FNC's damage making has to be marked with a question mark.
Mao's going to trade on him and upset. You got nowhere to go! Larson takes him with the Chaos Storm. Good tower secured there by Fnatic.
Speaking of Mad's experience of getting tickets is really magical. Mad has not won a BO5 for a whole year, but entered the World Championship. Mad didn't even make the playoffs in the spring game, and the 2 BO5s in the summer game were all lost. This is in stark contrast to LNG's failure to enter the World Championship after playing 7 BO5s. Due to the epidemic, the CIS region cancelled the follow-up schedule and naturally missed the World Championship while missing the MSI. Riot officials postponed the extra quota to the 3rd division. But the LEC's competition system is a bit strange. It relies on the points of the spring season plus the ranking of the regular season of the summer season to determine the playoff order, and the top 4 teams will advance to the playoffs. Mad tied for the first place in the regular season with 12-6 and G2 in the summer regular season, so after losing to RGE in the first round of the playoffs, the lower bracket ranking is higher than MSF. As a result, FNC directly helped Mad send the Rabbit team away 3 o'clock. In this way, Mad entered the World Championship as the 4th seed. When it came to the last S-game ticket battle between RNG and LN, RNG lost 2 consecutive games, and the game entered the tiebreaker again. Although Mad keeps losing BO5, he is good at BO1. The LEC regular season is BO1, and as a result, Mad makes a lot of tricks to get the first place. Even in the previous LEC Summer Best Team selection, Mad won for first team seats and Summer MVP. This year's play-in match is also BO1, maybe Mad might really be able to win and advance to the group stage. As the 3rd seed of the LPL, the defending champion EDG's World Championship ticket was desperately obtained by double-killing RNG. EDG may be the LPL's favorite team to play positional warfare. Azir and Aphelios are their most used combinations in the regular season, and try to ensure that there is no problem with the line. Then start attacking around Drakes, which is a more formulaic style of play. The number of deaths in EDG's landing phase ranks the least among all teams, and they can basically transition to Drake team battles smoothly. After entering the playoff version, the choice of support is mainly based on protective roles. Supports like Mako play very well, which tests the early game ability of the jungler a lot. However, Jejia's state has not been very stable since the regular season. He lacked a sense of presence against several strong teams. He won 0-0-0 for more than 10 minutes as an offensive jungler, which also made it difficult for EDG to deal with strong teams. To this end, EDG is also actively making some adjustments, such as letting Jun Jia play as the starting jungler and leading the team by attacking more in the early stage. Or give Viper champions like Kalista or Draven to improve landing strength. In addition, EDG also emphasized the confrontation between mid lane and jungle heroes in the playoffs, allowing Scout to select champions like Sylas and LeBlanc to share part of the early jungle pressure. Finally, I would like to commend EDG's top laner, Flandre. In the 4th game between EDG and RNG, RNG had an early economic advantage of 7k. But Flandre explained what the top lane is. Others Renekton may be useless in the late stage. He used 2 key kills to kill RNG's carry position to prove that he is still the first-class top laner.
EDG 还是不想放弃 ，Mako 先被打了一套，举了个盾，坦度还可以。
但是被恶火修炼给拽回来了 ，Mako 的血量比较残，但是随后弗兰朵一波进场，直接去找后边的嘎啦他被找到了，但是嘎啦往后拉扯下，
还差一下
普攻，有一手护盾，弗兰朵在顶他，能行吗 ？Q 技能将其秒杀，又是个一技能由弗兰朵，圣长河看下 double Q， 再一个强撸找到小虎，双 C 阵亡，打出团灭，枪迷们 hold 得住吗？
Next, let's take a look at LPL's number 1 seed, JDG. This team doesn't have very high-profile superstars like other teams, but the change that the newly added 369 has made under tutelage is immediate. 369 was the top laner of TES before. At that time, 369 was questioned by the outside world because he was not good at playing tank champions, and there were many famous scenes in the training room of TES.
你打那了，你每次管那些杰斯、卢仙，那你哪次不是被他们人马、被他们无敌抓成狗啊？你说哪次不被抓成狗啊？一个赛季练一个纳那么难吗？不是你先选永远只有酒桶跟杰斯，酒桶玩的跟屎一样。OK。
However, after the version update, RNG's single play style and slow adjustment speed made them slow stage of the season. The version's strong protective support does not meet the needs of RNG's old tactics. TI's adaptation speed to the new version is also slower than the jungler of the top 3 seed teams.
369
In the regular season, 369 19 MVPs, ranked first in assists and second in total kills. In the playoffs, he used Yasuox to continuously suppress Wayward. He was the strongest top laner in the LPL summer season. Canavi is different from other junglers. He really likes the line that ganks opponent jungler can't take care of, which is what we called dislocation attack in our previous program. The first round of wild monsters that JDG pays great attention to is the capture of the specific location of the opponent's jungler. Canavi always invades the opponent's jungle early in the game in order to gain information on the opponent. As a result, his path is very variable, although sometimes it also reduces his jungler efficiency. But as long as he has the key information, he can quickly make correct and effective decisions. It can be said that Canavi is definitely the core of JDG's first round of offense and defense. In the 2-5 games between JDG and TES in the semi-finals and finals, JDG showed significantly better integrity and discipline than TES. Of course, this is inseparable from the excellent performance of 369 on the top. Also, Missing and Yageo were always able to stand up and support the team when Canavi was restricted during the ban. After all, there is always someone to do the dirty work, although Yageo's tactical status in JDG is not high, and he was not selected for the season awards in the regular season. But Yageo's performance in the playoffs was very stable. He was JDG's hidden boss and eventually won the FMVP of the summer finals. And JDG's AD Hope, his growth this summer is obvious to all. Although he has been questioned and has been assigned to the second team many times, now he has been able to carry the output banner of the championship team. After the baptism of MSI, EG returned to the league and was still the dominant player in the league. In the summer regular season, EG's performance was even stronger than that in the spring season. In the end, with 15 wins and 3 losses, EG directly advanced to the second round of the winners group as the first place in the regular season. The 4 people in the team almost swept the first team of the regular season, and their strength is still relatively strong in the LCS. Regarding EG's play style, Danny and Jojopian are the core of the team, and the overall play style is also the lineup for positional warfare. In particular, Danny is the core of the core, and the extremely high personal level is also the key to EG's ability to thrive in this bot lane version. However, the problem is that EG's style of play, which is more dependent on a certain player, will change due to the player's own state. On the other hand, Danny's performance in the playoffs was relatively average, and his performance in the previous MSI was also inconsistent. After a tough win over TSM and TL, EG finally secured a 3rd World Championship spot. Danny cried on the spot after winning the tiebreaker at TL. Then the EG official suddenly announced that Danny would not be with the team to participate in the LCS Finals weekend due to psychological problems. In the end, EG let the second team substitute AD come up to play the lower bracket final with 100T. Of course, he lost the game without any accident. Where the EG World Championship can go depends on whether Danny's mentality can be adjusted in time. On September 11, the LCS Finals C9 swept 100T 3-0 to win the Summer Championship and won the #1 seed in North America. Jensen has reached Worlds for 8 consecutive years, becoming the first player in LCS history. Let's go to the United Center Arena, the home of the Bulls, to experience the atmosphere of NA in advance. This year's World Series Finals will be played at the Warriors' home, the Chase Center Arena. As an old fan, I am looking forward to the birth of the League of Legends World Championship in this arena. This year's C9 staff has changed a lot. The original top laner Summit joined FPX after failing in the spring playoffs, and the mid laner Fudge also returned to the top lane. The veteran AD player in the team, Sven, transformed into an assistant, focusing on assisting the rookie AD, and Jensen returned to C9. Coincidentally, 100T's assistant was also transformed from other positions, and he is Hui. It's hard to imagine that these 2 seasoned seniors are still on the field now. And C9 took the top spot in North America, thanks to the high degree of fit between their play style and version. They were a team that liked to control Drakes in the regular season and had the highest control rate of Drakes in the league, but at that time they were only ranked 5th in the division. Entering the playoffs, after the Xiaolong version was updated, they had the North American Super Rookie AD, and they really started to gain momentum. The rookie named Berserker, who used to be the AD of the T1 second team, was the substitute for Teddy's back then. But as his name suggests, a Berserker who was unwilling to be his descendants, he decided to bring his talent to North America. With his fierce style of play and excellent language learning ability, he quickly made his own way in the North American arena. Berserker's Zelie finished 1v4 in Game 1 of the final against 100T. In 3 games, Berserker's damage per game was twice that of the FBI, no wonder Sven was willing to be his striker. In addition, another reason why C9 can beat 100T is that they can come up with more lineup systems. Fudge alone has picked up 9 different champions in 13 playoff games. Another system that they commonly use is the mid lane Kirin, the bottom lane Sivir and the protective support. Combined with the warrior roles chosen by the top lane jungler, the team moves fast and moves freely. Only they can use this tactic. After all, they can use Kirin's mid laner, and they can count on one hand. Jensen's mage hero seems to be different from others. When the game enters the middle and late stages, he is very good at using mage champions to put pressure on the side lanes. In the first game of the upper bracket final, Jensen's Orianna turned into XPK and circled the crystal, and the last drop of blood just exploded at the base. In the second game, Jensen also took out the ancient mage Anivia. When the game entered the stalemate stage, he seized the 100T vision gap and killed the Drake. Alone, breaking the stalemate. In addition, C9 has a very high probability of entering the top 8 in the world, and they were able to advance 0-3 in the first round of the group stage last year. Can this year continue the tradition of the top 8? Let us go C9. This year, the original 100T team continued to hit the World Championships, and the top laner Someday was positioned as a tank in the team. Champions like Gnar and Ornn are the most frequently used in the summer regular season, with a very high win rate. After entering the playoff version, the choice of support is mainly based on protective roles. Supports play very well, which tests the early game ability of the jungler a lot. However, Jiejia's state has, from the economic curve of 100T winning EG in the loser bracket final, it can be seen that 100T is a late-stage team. They often win their final victory by winning team fights after 25 minutes. But unfortunately C9's Berserker is too ferocious, and the overall lineup is better. It is reasonable that 100T can't win. There is one more interesting statistic about the LCS. In the summer split, they were the region that liked to use protective supports the most. Especially Yuumi, with a high appearance rate, the win rate is also very good. On the other hand, in the LPL, whether it is the appearance rate or the winning rate, Yuumi is a more embarrassing choice. On the LCK side, in the second half of the season, Yuumi was basically banned, and the team that selected Yuumi basically won. The side with Yuumi can always get higher fault tolerance and upper limit in team fights. For this reason, in the LCS finals, many spectators held the ban Yuumi sign.